What's up, everybody? It's Sean, Sharp Money Sean, Sean's Take, and we're back to talk about the Sharp Money Tool. Sharp Money is where it's at. That's what we've done. I meant to get a video out about the Sharp Money Tool a while ago. I haven't been on YouTube in a while for the long form content. I hope you guys have seen our YouTube shorts with all our picks, but I'm very happy to be here to explain a bit more about the OddsJam Sharp Money Tool to you guys today, and it has made me a whole lot. Best stretch of 400 picks I've ever had in my life. Let's dive into it. So first, I want to show you guys some of the results, show you the power of what the OddsJam Sharp Money Tool does. So this is my spreadsheet here that you guys can see. I have tracked every single pick I have taken using my strategy on the OddsJam Sharp Money Tool dating back to October 23rd. And as we're scrolling down, you guys see a lot of green. You see some red. That's to be expected. Here are our total results. All picks, 253 and 144 record. That is a 63.73 winning percentage at just under 400 total picks. Look, I don't know anybody who tracks their picks like this, who's crazy enough to actually show you guys all of the results. That's something I do. And second off, I don't know anybody who's hitting at 63.73% of their picks. Average odds of all this are minus 136. So it's not like we're taking minus 200s and trying to inflate a winning percentage. We are doing this with, it's not even odds, but, pretty reasonable odds. A lot of people post minus 180 plays. I think the highest thing I've taken in all of these picks is like a minus 170, because minus 170 was where the value was. There was a minus 250 on another book for that same exact prop, so we took it. But average odds are minus 136. You guys can see, let me zoom out a little bit, show you guys more sample size here. In 2026 so far, we've made 4.58 units of profit. In total, let's just filter all of column G here, 43.22 units of profit since October 23rd. I've done sports betting for a long time. I've never had this type of success, and I've used about every single research tool model maker in the industry, and nothing compared to what the OddsJam Sharp Money Tool has done. So that's why I'm talking about this, because it's genuinely helped me so much, and I want it to be able to help you too. So enough with the results. You guys can view every single play I've taken. I will link this spreadsheet. It's public in the description of this episode. And also, the reason I'm not showing you a picket is because I'm in California. I do not have DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, all the major books. So I'm limited to pretty much offshores because sweepstakes and exchanges are no longer available here either. Picket doesn't track all those. So I list everything by the best book because I send out plays to people giving them the best book, because most of my people are in legal sports betting states. But I'm taking stuff either on Player Profit or on offshores, neither of which track on Picket. So that's why I made this spreadsheet. I update it daily. It is accurate. I'm not trying to inflate anything or mark something green when it was really red. This is real tracking. I update it daily. You guys can always check the link to see what plays I've taken on a day and how we did. Now, I want to show you guys 4 of my sharp money plays that I took today. It is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. And I'm going to tell you why I took these plays. So let's go to one of my first ones that I locked in. Deron Holmes II under 5.5 rebounds and assists. So what stood out to me on this one? First off, my rule number 1 with the Sharp Money Tool for me personally, I do not take a play if it does not have over $1,000 of liquidity. The more the merrier, but there are a ton of plays I take that are like this one, 1,100, 1,200, 1,600. It's obviously really nice when you have $8,000 of liquidity on a player prop that nobody's ever heard of. That means a sharp is super, super confident in that. However, that's going to be few and far between. So rule number 1, we got over $1,000 of liquidity. Deron Holmes II under 5.5 rebounds. Is this $1,100 worth of liquidity on this? Now, next thing I do is I take a look at the lines. Again, I'm sending these plays out to subscribers who have access to the major books in the U.S., so I look through where the best odds are. MGM minus 118. That stands out. Why? Because Bovada minus 160 and Caesars minus 190. So MGM clearly has a line here that's a little bit messed up. And even when we filter down, there's not a lot of books showing here with this play. And you see like these BetSafe, BetSun, Sportsino, they've got plus money odds on this. Like, they're completely flipped on what this line is compared to every major book. So I'm trusting, the MGM, Caesars, Bovadas more. And I actually went and looked at this play on DraftKings and FanDuel tool. They had this at 4.5. So most books, why they're not listed here is because they've already bumped down to 4.5. So MGM here, clear value at minus 118. When Caesars, who still has it at 5.5, hasn't bumped it to 4.5, has the under insanely juiced at minus 190. Something I would never, ever bet. Minus 190 is way too juicy for a straight bet for me. We locked in at minus 118. Great, incredible value. So that checked both of our boxes, over $1,000 worth of liquidity, and we're getting a good price on this play compared to the market and compared to other books. Let's look at another example. Alex Sarr, over 7.5. This is like more of a textbook play for something that I look at. Over $1,000 worth of liquidity. We're seeing $1,400 being placed on this. Quickly do a scan of the major books here at the top. We can see DraftKings minus 139. What I really love to see is FanDuel and Pinnacle be more juicy than the book I'm taking it on. So if I'm going to take it on DraftKings, which mirrors player profit, so I took this on player profit, I know I'm getting minus 139. I now see FanDuel minus 148. That's 9 cents worth of juice that I would have to pay if I took this on FanDuel. So I know FanDuel's more confident this under is going to hit than DraftKings, which I'm great with because FanDuel's a sharper player prop book than DraftKings. And then let's scan the rest of the market. Well, we can see here Bovada minus 150, Caesars minus 182. So this is now a golden play for me because not only is FanDuel more juicy, but other books are also more juicy than what I'm getting on DraftKings. So this is telling me a sharp's on this play and DraftKings is the outlier who has their odds wrong. And I am about 99% sure I'm going to beat closing line value on this play. I do not think this line is going to finish at minus 139 here. The other thing I like to do is go down and look at some of these other books. So Prop Builder, that's pretty much the offshore consensus for player props. They power a ton of offshore player props. They're at minus 154. That's really great. Rebet minus 154, Bet Whale minus 154, Fliff minus 160, Sportzino minus 155. Like all of these are way more juicy than my minus 139 that I'm getting on DraftKings. So I'm getting a sharp on the play and I'm getting positive expected value for Alex Sarr over 7.5 rebounds. Next play we took, Karl Anthony Towns. This isn't as good of a textbook example here, but I did like this play and I'll walk you through why. So Towns under 11.5 rebounds, $1,400 worth of liquidity. That checks the first box. Then we can look, DraftKings actually, I think, bumped this down to under 10.5. And we can see FanDuel and Pinnacle agree minus 148, minus 146. So, on the juicier side of a prop, we then see other books, Bet 105, who's also a pretty sharp book, MGM at minus 150. So I'm thinking, okay, there's best value right now is on Bovada at minus 145. Why I ended up taking this play is because I scrolled down to look at some more of these offshores. ProfitX, insanely sharp, has another market at minus 170. So I really like seeing them at minus 170. I really liked seeing Rebet at minus 172. I really liked seeing Bet Whale at minus 164. Seeing Prop Builder at minus 164. So these minus 164, minus 170 lines are what gave me the confidence to take this play. If those were at minus 140 as well, and everything here was minus 140, MGM, Bet 105, minus 150, I would not have taken this play. But I did end up taking this play here on Bovada because minus 145, it's in agreement with FanDuel and Pinnacle, but these other books here, not the greatest source, but a trusted source for me still, are in the minus 160s and minus 170s. So that's not my strongest play, but I do still feel like I'm getting a better price on Bovada than what I really should be getting for this play, and I would be surprised if this also did not beat closing line value. Another play we took, Zion Williamson over 32.5 points. This right here is a great reason on why I love the Sharp Money Tool. His over 32.5 was not offered on many books at the time that I locked this in. We got it at minus 125. You can see right here, first off, pretty much $1,800 worth of liquidity. We're over the $1,000 barrier. But FanDuel has it at minus 178. DraftKings had it at minus 125. That right there is a no-brainer. FanDuel sharper in the player prop department than DraftKings is. Boom, I locked that in. And you can also see there's like no books that have this because nobody else was offering it at 32.5. I went on to check the market, what other books were offering, 33.5, 34.5, 35.5. So DraftKings was very slow to this play. This is like a pure value play right here. We're getting a better price and a better line than any other book. That was a no-brainer for me to take. And again, you can do that. You can bet just positive expected value, positive EV betting. But why not positive EV bet with a sharp putting down over $1,000 in liquidity on that same exact pick? That's what I like about this. Every play I do is positive expected value. You could just go to the EV tool, which is still great. I still use that. But why not get positive EV and a sharp on the exact same play that you're going to take. It's checking 2 boxes, which is what I really like. Now, those were the 4 plays I wanted to go over with you guys. What I want to do is try to find another play today. So I'm going to reset my filter. I was going game by game here. Talk about what I like, what I don't like. So Denver Nuggets money line right here. There's a lot of sharp action on it. It's going over the pinnacle limit. I'm not going to take this, though. I'm not trying to take underdogs right now. Like, for the plays I send out to people, I want to hit at a high rate and be consistent for them. There are strategies on heavy underdogs, which do indeed work. I haven't dove into that as much as I will in the future. But right now, we're trying to find plays to keep my 63% win rate over 400 plays alive. I want to stay in that range right there, and that's these plays. Minus 145, we had a minus 139. So that's the range I'm trying to stay in. Again, average odds across the 400 plays I've taken are minus 136. So that's my sweet spot right now. There definitely are strategies where you lower your win rate, but hit on a bunch of big underdogs. So there's different methods to the madness that you can use. This is mine. It's what's made me 40 units in just over 2 months. So I'm sticking with it, with what we're doing. This one's intriguing here. Toronto Raptors money line. So we can see, there's good liquidity on this, 25K, really 26K if you round up a little bit. And Pinnacle has a $12,000 limit. So that's really positive to me, especially with game lines. If there was 10K on this, that's not telling me much. That's saying, Pinnacle would let you bet more than what you are. Pinnacle wouldn't let you go bet $25,000, $26,000 on this play because they're concerned they're going to be losing money at that point. So I like seeing, the liquidity doubled off of what Pinnacle would allow you to do. And then let's take a look at the odds. Game lines are a little different. Player props is where you really see more expected value. Game lines, you do have to lean a little bit more into the liquidity and just a market consensus because the lines are tighter. You're rarely going to see a money line with FanDuel at minus 160 and DraftKings at minus 130. That's just not going to happen. They're going to be pretty close to each other. But we see minus 135, DraftKings 142 on FanDuel and Pinnacle. Good signs there. We can scroll down, see if there's anything meaningful. Every book has this look pretty much in the minus 140s. I'm not going to probably add this to my card today. It's also 10 minutes away, so we're going to stick away from that. But that would be a game line worth considering there. We can see the Jazz are getting liquidity. I'm not going to touch that. I don't know if we're going to find something right now. Let's see. Thomas Shabbat under 1.5 shots on goal. So this is one of the interesting ones that you just have to either trust the sharp or leave it alone. But we can see, and we may take this, Pinnacle, FanDuel, minus 120, but DraftKings, Bovada, MGM, Caesars, all right in that same range. So if Pinnacle and FanDuel were minus 130, minus 140 on this play, that'd be a no-brainer for me to take because I know I'm getting minus 120 value when I should be having to pay minus 140 juice. What I do like on this, though, random NHL player prop, right? 9K on that is a whole lot of liquidity. That's not just your average NHL fan going to the game saying, I want to put $20 down on my favorite player, or I guess it's an under, so a player I dislike on the opposing team. This is somebody saying, I've got a model that's really strong on this, and I'm going to put a whole lot of money down because I trust this play. I now have one box checked with the sharp being on the play. I do not have my second box checked of FanDuel and Pinnacle leading the way to make this a more juicy prop. So they're not giving me any indicators here. I don't like that. What I do kind of like, though, Sports Zeno down here at minus 150, Prop Builder minus 143. That's more juicy than what we're getting here. So I'm going to wait on this play until about 5:30 p.m. and recheck this, see if the liquidity is still there. It may be gone because people can eat it up, and you know what? You move on. You're not going to get every single play. But if all of a sudden I see Pinnacle and FanDuel move to minus 140 and I can still catch something in the minus 120, minus 130 range, I'm going to make that a play. But right now, I'm not going to lock that in as a play. Nikola Vucevic under 10.5 rebounds. Here's a good reason on a play I would not take. So really great liquidity. We're above the 250 limit. He may very well go under and could end a game with 5 rebounds, and this looks like, the easiest bet in the world. But why don't I like this? Well, I see, I can take it at Bovada, minus 120, pretty good odds. FanDuel, minus 146, I really like that. But why is Pinnacle sitting at minus 122? That concerns me right there. Why isn't Pinnacle moving this line more? I'm going to stay away from that and trust that Pinnacle is a pretty reliable source, and they're saying, hey, this really isn't a minus 146 play. Maybe Pinnacle's wrong here, but you got to pick and choose your battles. And I want a lot of liquidity and FanDuel and Pinnacle to be leading the way with the odds. I want to beat the price of FanDuel and Pinnacle. I'm not going to really significantly beat the price on Pinnacle in this play, so I'm going to leave it alone. Let's keep taking a look. Let's try to find a player prop. They got to give me something here. I pretty much skip over anything like this. Like you can see under half a made 3 plus 165. I'm not trying to take those plays. I try to find a play that has, close to even odds or negative odds when I'm scrolling through. So it's, sometimes there's not a whole lot of options here. Sometimes you have to just continuously check back and find the play that you want. College basketball is not going to have the liquidity we're looking for. I don't know that we're going to, let's just filter the NBA really quick. I'll try to get you guys, something here. And as always, if you guys want to get the Sharp Money Tool, that link is going to be in the description of this episode. And if you guys, don't want to jump in on the tool yet, if the tool's a little overwhelming, there's a free trial and 35% off your first month. So, plenty of time to work with it. And then also I give out every single Sharp Money play that I take. That link is also here. How I do that is $5 a day. If the day's not profitable, your next day is free. So it's, either the payment's coming out of the profits and it's, free in that nature that you just made the money. So it's not even like it's going out of your pocket, or if it's a losing day, you are in the next day for free. But again, we've been absolutely crushing it up over 40 units since October 23rd. Let's try to find something here. So let's scroll through a little bit. Trey Jones under half made 3, not a lot on the market there. Mark Williams over 11.5. See, I wouldn't take this DraftKings at minus 142 when FanDuel and Pinnacle minus 122, minus 131. If they were minus 150, then we'd take it. But again, I always want my book to be below what FanDuel and Pinnacle have for that play. I don't know that this is a great time as I'm recording this to find more plays. It doesn't seem like there's a lot. This isn't terrible. Towns under 32.5 points rebounds. Bovada minus 125. FanDuel minus 140. And then you see Novig minus 159. That's not terrible. I wish there were more books there, though. It probably does mean that, maybe he's at 30.5 on DraftKings and everything else. But I already have a Towns play, so I don't want to double dip into him. Chet under 19.5 points. Let's see. Not a huge market. That line's changing. So these are things, like if I was taking more time on this, I would go check, which I guess we can just check right now. Let's just see what Chet Holmgren is in his points, because maybe, this is this line is too high and we can catch some really good value here. So let's put Chet in. So he's at 18.5 on most every other book. So this would say that, getting it at Bovada at 19.5 minus 145 is a pretty good price, because nobody else is going to have it at that price. I'm not going to take that. I'm not in love with that play. I want to find you guys like a normal play. Here we go. Okay. Isaiah Stewart over 1.5 assists. Oh, this is at 4 p.m. We're not going to take this right now, but look at this. FanDuel minus 225, DraftKings minus 184. We could get this at MGM at minus 150, and let's even see if that's pretty much the best price. But so that would be a play. If there was an hour before tip-off, I would take that. I'm not going to take it right now. Just don't have the time to get everything going on this. But that's a play that I would be all over. When you can get minus 150 on MGM and FanDuel has that minus 225, that's a pretty golden opportunity. Let's see this J-Dub play. I don't hate this at all. So DraftKings minus 120, Pinnacle minus 141, Bet 105, another very sharp book, minus 147. So we're getting a very good price on this. I don't like that Prop Builder, though, is at minus 132. A lot of times the offshores are going to be more juicy, so when they're not, significantly more juicy, I don't exactly love that. But let's take a look at why FanDuel's not showing up. So if we go Williams, Jalen Williams, FanDuel has this at 19.5. Even odds both ways. This could be worthy of a play. I'm really trying to decide if I want to take this or not right now. That's definitely a play worth considering. I would like it if these offshores were a little more juicy. Not sure why that and Bet Whale aren't more juicy than this. But you know what? I think we'll lock that in. So we would take Jalen Williams under 20.5 points. And, I mean, I'll just take it right now. I'm taking these on Player Profit because I'm working through a funding challenge. Show you guys how we're doing. We've got a couple different accounts, but we've been crushing this as well. And let's see if we still get that price. The odds are moving or not. So we can take Williams points under 20.5. I can get it minus 120 still. Yep. So they mirror DraftKings odds pretty closely, and we lock that in. So a play I like here, right? 2K worth of liquidity. Also, really good bonus. Pinnacle has a $250 limit. So Pinnacle's saying we don't want you to put more than $250 down on this prop. So when somebody's putting $2,000 down, that means something. And then DraftKings minus 120. That and MGM are the lowest two books. So like if I'm sending this out to people, I'll send it out MGM minus 118. So you guys would all get the best value if you were in my group. But we know that Bet 105 minus 147, Pinnacle minus 141, two significantly smarter and sharper books are having this play in the minus 140s when we're getting it at minus 120, minus 118. So that's my rundown of the OddsJam Sharp Money Tool. And again, guys, I mean, it's worked out incredibly well. 253 and 144, 63.73 win percentage, up over 40 units since we started. This tool is incredible. You guys need to be using it. Get it in the link in the description of this episode. Use code TAKES, 35% off your first month and a free week so you get the hang of it. Message me with any questions, comment on any of my videos, DM me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Sean's Take, any of them. And if you want all my plays, you can head over to bet.seanstake.com. $5 a day for the day is not profitable. Your next day is free. That's how we operate. That's how it should be in this industry. Not going to make you guys pay for a whole month if we have a losing month and say, you know what, pay again. Sorry. If we're not winning, you're not paying. That's how it should be. But I really do love the OddsJam Sharp Money Tool. Hope this can be helpful. Comment on the video what you guys want to see next from me, what you want me to break down more. I'm happy to do it. I will be doing long form content a lot more for you guys. And let's keep making money.